The silence in the elegant mansion was so heavy that no one dared to breathe. It all began when my sister Valeria Castillo decided to celebrate her engagement at Palacio Dorado, the most exclusive venue in the city. For weeks she had been bragging about the reservation, sending photos to our family chat as if she owned the world. Elena, obviously you cannot come, she had told me 3 days earlier on the phone with that condescending tone I hated so much. It is a very elegant event. Well, you clean offices. I do not want my guests to feel uncomfortable. I stayed silent, as always. For years Valeria had built this narrative where she was the successful daughter, married to an accountant, living in a nice neighborhood house, while I was the failed sister who cleaned buildings at night to survive. What she did not know was that those buildings I cleaned were actually properties of my $50 million real estate empire. Grupo Castillo. My nightly routine was simply my way of keeping everything under personal control. I had started by buying my first commercial building at 22 after years of saving every peso. My plan was simple: buy declining properties, renovate them, and turn them into premium spaces. In 15 years I had built a chain of 47 commercial buildings, including 3 shopping centers and 5 corporate office complexes. Palacio Dorado had been my most recent acquisition. I bought it 6 months ago when the previous owner went bankrupt during the pandemic. No one in my family knew because I always managed my businesses through anonymous corporations and trusted managers. On the day of the engagement, I arrived at the club wearing my usual clothes, clean jeans and a simple blouse. I knew Valeria would have expected me to dress appropriately, but after her comment about not inviting me, I decided to show up anyway. Miss, excuse me, the security guard stopped me at the entrance. Do you have an invitation for the Castillo event? I am Elena Vargas, I replied calmly. The guard checked his list and frowned. I am sorry, your name is not here. I cannot let you in. At that moment Valeria appeared from inside, radiant in her pink cocktail dress, surrounded by her neighborhood friends. What are you doing here, Elena? She asked loudly, making sure everyone could hear. I told you clearly this event was not for you. I only came to congratulate you, I said simply. This club is not for people like you, she shouted, her voice echoing in the elegant marble lobby. Several people turned to look at us. We only accept high-class members. Do you not understand there are standards here? Her friends laughed, looking me up and down with contempt. Obviously, you are right about the standards, I replied, staying calm as I took out my phone. Management, this is Elena, the owner. Yes, I am here in the main lobby. I need you to immediately cancel all memberships associated with the Castillo family. The silence spread like a shockwave. Valeria looked at me as if I had spoken another language. What are you talking about? She stammered. Also cancel tonight's event. Yes, the engagement. Refund all the money and politely ask the guests to leave. The manager Diego Lopez came running from the administrative offices. I had personally hired him 3 months earlier for his luxury hospitality experience. Mrs. Elena, he said with a respectful voice, slightly out of breath. I did not know you were here. Is there a problem? Diego, my sister Valeria has just explained to me that this club is not for people like me and that you only accept high-class members. I think she is right. Please proceed with the cancellations I requested on the phone. Valeria's face went from confusion to pure horror. Wait, your sister, Mrs. Elena. Diego nodded professionally. Mrs. Elena Vargas is the owner of Palacio Dorado. She acquired the property in February. That is impossible, whispered one of Valeria's friends. She cleans offices. Indeed, I clean my offices, I confirmed. Every night I personally inspect each one of my 47 commercial buildings. It is the only way to ensure the standards remain high. Valeria staggered, her face losing all color. 47 buildings. The Grupo Castillo real estate empire generates approximately $12 million annually in rent, explained Diego, discreetly checking his tablet. Palacio Dorado represents only 8% of the total portfolio. Valeria's friends were stunned. One of them, who had been particularly cruel about my clothes, now completely avoided eye contact. Elena, I did not know, Valeria began, but I stopped her with a gentle gesture. Valeria, for 15 years you have built a narrative where I am the failed sister. I never corrected you because frankly I did not care about your opinion. But today you crossed a line. What line? She asked weakly. You publicly humiliated me based on class prejudices. Exactly the kind of attitude this type of establishment should not tolerate. Diego coughed politely. Mrs. Elena, do you wish me to proceed with the cancellations? I looked at Valeria, who was now visibly trembling. Her fiancé had appeared and was trying to understand the situation. But no one was explaining anything coherent. Diego, actually I have a different proposal, I said finally. Let's turn this into an educational moment. The event can continue, but with one condition. Valeria and her guests are going to listen to a short presentation about the real values we expect in this club. I pointed toward the elegant main hall where the party had been set up. Do you see all this, Valeria? The 5-star catering, the floral decoration, the personalized service costs approximately 45,000 pesos. Valeria nodded silently. The cost of losing this reservation would be minimal for me, but the cost of tolerating discrimination based on class prejudice would be much greater. Diego smiled discreetly. Mrs. Elena, shall I gather the guests? Yes, and Valeria, your engagement can continue, but under new rules. What rules? First, you will publicly apologize to me in front of all your guests for your discriminatory comment. Valeria swallowed hard. Second, you will explain to your friends exactly what I really do for work. If you refuse, then the event is cancelled. Your deposit is lost, and you are banned for life from all my establishments. Diego consulted his tablet again. The Plaza Norte shopping center where you frequently shop. The Insurgentes corporate complex where your fiancé works. The Lopez Mateos commercial building where your beauty salon is located. The information fell on Valeria like an avalanche. For years she had been using my properties without knowing it. The shopping center where I work is also yours? Her fiancé asked. Finally understanding the magnitude. Satellite Business Tower, 12th floor, I confirmed. The accounting office where you work pays me 185,000 pesos monthly in rent. The silence was deafening. The guests had begun to gather in the lobby, curious about the delay and commotion. Valeria looked at me with tears in her eyes. Elena, I never knew. What? That I have success. That I built something. That I deserve basic respect, regardless of my appearance or apparent job. Yes, Valeria, the problem was never that you did not know about my financial success. The problem is that you used my apparent lack of status as an excuse to treat me with contempt. Diego cleared his throat. Mrs. Elena, the guests are waiting for instructions. Tell them the event will begin in 10 minutes after Valeria makes her announcement. Valeria took a deep breath. What exactly do you want me to say? The truth, that you judged your sister based on appearances. That you assumed someone who works physically is worth less than someone with an office job. That today you learned respect is not based on bank accounts. And then we will celebrate your engagement as a family. Valeria walked toward her guests gathered in the main hall with Diego guiding her to the microphone installed for the toasts. Excuse the delay, Valeria began with a trembling voice. Before we begin the celebration, I need to make a public apology. The guests fell completely silent. My sister Elena came today to congratulate me on my engagement and I treated her terribly. I publicly humiliated her because I thought her job made her less worthy of being here. She looked toward where I stood near the hall entrance. What I did not know is that Elena not only deserves to be here. She owns this place and 46 more properties. She built a business empire while I judged her for cleaning offices. Without understanding she was personally supervising her own businesses. The murmur among the guests was audible. Elena, sister, I ask your forgiveness in front of all our family and friends. Not only for today but for years of treating you as if you were less than me. I walked to the front of the hall. Valeria, I accept your apology and I hope everyone learned something today. What thing? Someone among the guests asked. That a person's value is never based on their apparent job, their clothes, or their visible social status. My sister judged me for cleaning floors without knowing those floors are mine. Valeria smiled for the first time that night, though she still had tears in her eyes. Now continue. Let us celebrate this engagement properly. Diego, please proceed with the full service. The rest of the night went surprisingly well. Valeria and her friends treated me with completely new respect. But more importantly, Valeria seemed genuinely reflective about her past behavior. When the event was ending, Valeria approached me privately. Elena, why did you never tell me about your success? Why? So you would treat me well only because I have money? Genuine respect is not bought. It is earned by being a good person. You are right, but I was horrible to you for years. Yes, you were, but tonight you showed me you can change. That is what matters. Valeria hugged me for the first time in years. Do you think we can rebuild our relationship? That depends on you. If you learn that all people deserve basic respect, regardless of their apparent situation, then yes. I learned. As I left the club that night, Diego accompanied me to the door. Mrs. Elena, you were very generous allowing the event to continue. Diego, business is not only about money, it is about values. Today we taught a more valuable lesson than any cancellation. And Sister Valeria has the potential to change. I gave her that opportunity. And if she does not change? I smiled as I got into my car. Then she has 46 more properties where she can learn the lesson. While driving home, I reflected on the events of the night. For years I had built my empire in silence, allowing my family to maintain their prejudices about my value and success. But tonight I had demonstrated something more important than my financial capacity. I had shown that real power comes from maintaining dignity under pressure, offering second chances when they're deserved, and using success to teach instead of to take revenge. Valeria called me the next day. Elena, can we have lunch this week? I want to really get to know my sister. Of course, Valeria, but we split the bill. Seriously, equality is more important than who has more money. And for the first time in 15 years, Valeria and I began to build a relationship based on real mutual respect, not on assumptions about social status. Palacio Dorado implemented a new policy after that night. Any form of discrimination based on appearance or perceived job would result in immediate membership suspension. Because at the end of the day, true class is not measured by what you have, but by how you treat others. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.